Steam Next Fest, how I love thee. Nothing else gets me to branch out and try new games I otherwise wouldn't have to see what insane ideas game devs have been cooking up, and then my reward is that I get to share my findings with my viewers. Well, I say I get to, but it would be more accurate to say that I plan to inflict my opinions on you all because it's fun, and if I don't I'll explode. So once again, what I have for you lovely viewers is a short lineup of the games that jumped out at me as I scrolled down the list of demos, and my opinions as a totally professional and objectively correct game critic on what they do right and where they could use improvement. Who knows, by the end you might even find a game or two that you'd love to play yourself. Right, so without further ado, let's get this started with my third game demo video. Brought to you by Corporate Potato, which is absolutely the best name for a game developer I have ever heard. Wellkeeper is the whimsical tale of an adorable little mouse that lives in an enchanted wishing well in a magical forest. But one night a terrible storm gathered and the mouse ran home to take shelter from the rain, only to be fucking struck by lightning and killed on the spot. But it's okay because the well brought the mouse back to life, now with the ability to fly by flapping his big ass ears and fire little balls of lightning at the monsters invading his home. Oh yeah, the storm also rained monsters or something. I wasn't really paying attention because look at the little guy go! Wellkeeper is a remarkably absorbing and surprisingly simple roguelike bullet hell, where you flap around the bottom of the well with the mystical power of your Dumbo ears, killing monsters and collecting coins to upgrade your powers by diving into your little boot house and shilling out cold hard cash because apparently magic is powered by capitalism. I mean, I guess it is a wishing well, but still. You use the shoulder buttons to flap left and right and the triggers to dash, and that's basically it as far as controls go. As Keepy, that's what I'm calling the adorable little bastard, fires off lightning at regular intervals determined by how much you've upgraded his rate of fire, and if you dash through projectiles you destroy them and also slow down time a little bit. I was initially a little iffy on the auto fire mechanic, but I actually think it works in the game's favour since it means all you really need to worry about at first is avoiding damage and positioning yourself. It's really quite fun, even if I am very bad at it. Should you die, and let's face it, you absolutely will because the challenge ramps up considerably between waves, you restart from wave 1 with all coins lost but all upgrades intact, so victory is really just a matter of persistence. The demo locks each run at 20 minutes max, which doesn't sound like much, but a lot can happen in 1200 seconds and it's very easy to lose track of the time. This game is supremely absorbing and it managed to hit that easy to learn, hard to master sweet spot that I think will make it a good entry point to people like me who aren't really used to bullet hell games. I really don't have any criticism to level at the game right now, it's just really cute and really damn fun. I seriously recommend giving the demo a try, and if you like my professional advice for your first run, sink your points into the fox and the firefly first, as the fox raises your rate of fire and the firefly gives you a little buddy who deals additional damage at regular intervals and can absolutely wreck shop with minimal investment. For context, rank 1 firefly does 10 damage per hit, but rank 2 fires 2 projectiles that both do 25 damage, it's kind of insane. The game is slated for release April 23rd, so definitely give the demo a try before then if I've made it sound at all appealing. It's actually the only demo I've kept after recording, and I'll be playing it more when I'm done writing the section. Go play Wellkeeper, it's really good. Developed and published by Bull Toro Games. Motor Rush Reborn is, I guess it's kind of a motorcycle obstacle course game? I don't know, it's not precisely a racing game and the Steam info page asks if you're fast enough to outrace your demons, so there's clearly something more planned for this thing. It has the tags for anime, racing and runner, so do with that info what you will I guess. The game is all about speed and not eating shit, and to that end you steer around oncoming shit servers and slide under low-hanging turds in your bid to not crash and leave half of your flesh smeared across 200 feet of asphalt behind you. Thank God you're canonically wearing a helmet, or I might be worried this is a bit unsafe. Gonna be honest with you guys, this game really isn't for me. There's nothing technically wrong with it, I just don't like that anytime you so much as lightly brush the side of a passing car, you crash and burn and get sent to the last checkpoint, especially because the game encourages near misses for points. The restart time is quick, but I find the instant failure more annoying than actually challenging. It's the same thing that put me off Super Meat Boy. It's very technically sound and responsive though, so it'll definitely appeal to people who do enjoy this genre. The game doesn't have a release date at time of writing, just that ominously nebulous coming soon status that could mean anything from coming out tomorrow to 3 days after the heat death of the universe. So you'll have plenty of time to get good before then if you're interested. Oh yeah, and there'll apparently be a story mode at some point. Whatever, I've said my bit, we're moving on. Well, I suppose there had to be at least one disappointment on this list, and make no mistake viewer, I was legit disappointed with this game. Like many people, I watched the trailer and went, ooh, this looks cool, or something to that effect, and then I was really excited to find out it had a demo. I was all prepped to have a fun time shooting demons in the face, which I almost managed to achieve. Developed by Counterplay Games Incorporated and published by Fictions, Armatus is the story of... You know, we're never actually given their name. We'll just call them Bethandrew. Anyway, Bethandrew is a holy warrior apparently summoned from a higher plane because the rapture happened and demons invaded, like they do, and the members of this church would very much like to not have their faces bitten off by Hellspawn, so that's where you come in. You run and gun and dodge and have a neat little light scythe and try not to die as you hopefully survive your run through the demon-infested streets of Paris in this third-person roguelike shooter thing. My main problem with this demo is that it has absolute dogshit optimization. The frame rate chugs like an alcoholic about to get his legs sawed off at a field hospital when it has to spawn in more than 5 guys, and sometimes just because it feels like it. And when I started this game it said, "Thanks for playing, but first I've got to load 13,000 shaders." That is too many fucking shaders. Put some of those back. I actually swapped my recording equipment a few minutes after I started because I figured OBS was making it worse and it barely made a difference, which is a massive sign that your game is not optimized in the slightest. I've had OBS hurt the frame rate of other games, but switching it off has always fixed the issue, and I've never had this problem with a demo before. I was curious as to why this game was so bad in that regard, so I checked and the game file is 59 fucking gigabytes big. That is fucking ludicrously big for a demo. That's bigger than most full games. For context, Silksong is 7.5 gigs. DMC5 is 35 gigs. Veilguard is fucking massive and it's 90 gigabytes. Armatis is a 20-minute demo and it's more than half the file size of Veilguard, which is fucking insane. I know it sounds like I'm making a big deal out of this, but when these issues impact the enjoyment of the game itself, it's a big problem. And there is stuff to enjoy here. I think this game has potential, but it would seriously benefit from someone who knows what the hell they're doing. The game also needs to tighten up the bullet spread on the free aim. If you're not holding the left trigger, it feels like half the bullets just vanish into the ether, and needing to constantly narrow your field of view just to ensure you can actually kill something leaves you vulnerable to everything else, and it's really not fun to have a run ended because you couldn't see the bat demon swooping your way. Like I said, there are things to like about this game. The demons have interesting designs and the roguelite elements give it plenty of replay value, and combat is fun and fast paced when the frame rate isn't having an asthma attack, so I genuinely hope the devs fix these issues. The game's slated for release sometime in 2026, so they should have plenty of time to do so, and not just leave the issues in for players to fix like some companies like a Gearbox, mention. Look, just optimize your fucking games, people. It should not be on the players to ensure your game can hobble across the finish line, and it's a bad fucking look when you leave it for them to solve. Meanwhile, standing in sharp contrast in every possible fucking way, The Witch's Bakery is a game that I really expected to not like, mostly because I just don't tend to like cozy games or job simulators. Again, there's nothing technically wrong with them, they're just not for me because I tend to find them mechanically and narratively understimulating. It's for this very reason that I will only ever play Stardew Valley with friends, because otherwise I would find it just too tedious and boring. However, in the spirit of Next Fest, I decided to give it a shot and I found that I actually quite like this one, probably because it does have a, pronounced story attached to it. The Witch's Bakery is the story of Lune, I think I'm pronouncing that right, but I don't know enough French to be sure, a witch who moves to Paris to open her own bakery with her friend and familiar Oreo, who is a morph. Lune is a mage of heart, and her plan is to sell baguettes and croissants and chocolatines that will make people feel better. Gotta say, it's weird that this is the second Next Fest video in a row to involve selling emotion-altering pastries. Also, between this and Steel Rising and also Clairobscur, I've played a lot of extremely French games lately, and all of them in very different ways. Anyway, the game is split between selling your baked goods every day in a little management game while making sure you don't run out of dough and disappoint any customers, and then social activities at night, where you hang out with friends, read up on the lore, improve your pastries, and just generally live your best witch Parisian patissier life, complete with occasionally diving into the hearts of people who are followed by these adorable little regret creatures to help them overcome whatever emotional constipation is keeping them from being a healthy and well-adjusted adult, like a combination baker hit-and-run therapist. People come to you and get to eat tasty food that fixes their hearts, which is the same excuse that I use whenever I buy pastries. No, I'm not wasting my money on junk food. I'm healing the emotional block in my heart. Don't fucking judge me. At first the game seems like just a collection of minigames tied together by your daily routine, but then you encounter a woman with a massive regret, and diving into her heart reveals a symbolic mindscape filled with sliding block puzzles, and you're tasked with guiding the manifestation of her repressed sadness back into the core of her heart, and that's where the game really starts to come alive for me. While I do recommend this game, the recommendation comes with the caveat that there's more going on than your usual cozy game affair, and given the topic of repressed emotions and regret, it's liable to get real heavy in the final game, so keep that in mind if you prefer your cozy games to stay cozy and leave you to sink into a plush chair instead of whatever this is doing. Also, while this game is very cute and gives me the warm fuzzies, I didn't like Luna's design for a while, and I couldn't articulate why until I suddenly realized that her mouth is just too high up and makes her face weirdly scrunched. I got over it and I find her very charming now, but now you're aware of it too, so you're welcome. The Witch's Bakery is being developed by Sunny Lab and published by Silver Lining Interactive, and is scheduled to come out in Q2 of this year, so definitely give the demo a look if you're in the mood for this lovely little tale and don't mind the pastry cravings it'll give you. I would kill a man for a fucking chocolate croissant right now. Oh my god. Okay, so I actually have very little to say on this game, and that's because there's not much I really can say about it just yet. Brought to us by Outlandish Development, Evernorth is an action roguelite with permadeath about Alistair, a mage who gets trapped in some kind of alternate dimension and would rather not be there, so he grabs a spellbook, and by using the ancient technique of mage martial arts, it is your job to fight your way out and hopefully survive. The game is deliberately evoking the aesthetics of early 3D games, but with combat far faster and more fluid and satisfying than would have been possible at the time. And it's pretty fun if you're into permadeath runs, which I sadly am not. It's not a terrible game though, and it doesn't have a set release date yet, so you'll have plenty of time to get good at it while you wait. From the trailer, I really thought I'd have more to say on it, but I just don't. Sorry guys. I don't know, it's probably someone's cup of Fireball. Give it a look if you're up for a challenge. In another sharp contrast, I actually have way too fucking much to say about this next game. Developed and published by Crimson Cat Studios, Chronicles Meteorfall is an RPG maker game about Koros, a blue-haired anime boy in an idyllic fantasy land that's due for a Dark Lord any day now, living in his parents' weirdly technologically advanced house located in a rural fantasy village, who really wants to join the knights to help keep his home safe from roaming monsters. And to that end, he takes their test to go kill a thief in the local suspiciously plot-relevant cave, kills the thief who thinks he's the main character of an MMO for some reason, yada yada yada, he fuses with the dragon god of time, kills his homophobic uncle in self-defense, and is exiled forever so he has no excuse to refuse the call to adventure anymore. Okay, it might have yada yada for a bit too much there. Okay, if it's not entirely obvious, this game has a fucking lot going on and doesn't always make sense, and it's kind of a mess. And also I absolutely adore it and I'm dying to play more. Meteorfall is an open love letter to the JRPG genre in all its eclectic, weird glory and unseriousness, and you have to see this shit. It is so ridiculous and heartfelt and stupid and weirdly enthralling. It's also very much still a work in progress, with a lot of very obvious placeholder art and game-breaking technical issues and in desperate need of quality of life fixes, and it's also currently still being patched and updated. As in, the demo is being updated while the developer is both working on the final product and going to college, which is a damn impressive show of dedication and passion. The game is spinning a dozen plates with a job-based battle system and crafting and skill mixing and intentionally broken builds, and it's just a lot. There's a lot to this game. It's very ambitious, I'll give it that, and I say that with love. Cards on the table, this is actually my second time playing the game. The first time was on itch.io and I had to stop because of a bug that blocked all progress, and yeah, it's still there in this version. Crimson Cat, please fix this. I want to play the rest of the demo so fucking bad. I will fully cop to the fact that I'm being nicer to this game than I probably should, and it's entirely because I find it so utterly fucking charming. I love how dramatic it gets, and I love how utterly broken the magic system is, and I especially love that Crimson Cat wears their Fire Emblem Fan status on their sleeve, but with a reference to Anna and all of the spells being inspired by the games to a perhaps inadvisable degree, considering how lawsuit happy Nintendo has been of late. I also love this game is just fucking ridiculous at times, like with the non-canon old man and the two street performers. I mean, look at this. There's a sense of humor to this game that I find very appealing, especially because it doesn't know the meaning of the word cringe and is therefore free. Also, Crimson Cat has announced the intent to bring some very good LGBT representation to the forefront, some of which I already know about and can't get into because spoilers, but I can promise the premise is very sound, which is something you probably care about if you're a fan of my channel. I don't know what to say, you should just give this game a try. The plan is to get it done by Q4 of 2026, but that honestly doesn't sound entirely reasonable given the ambition of this project, and I would be both unsurprised and very supportive of them if they decide to push it back until next year to ensure it's given the time it needs. Please, give the game a try, okay? Just for me, I want more people to talk about this with, and I want Crimson Cat to know that they've got people looking forward to their work. I have high hopes and a hankering for a good turn-based RPG, and this is kind of what I really want. Speaking of turn-based RPGs, this was a fun one. People of Note is a musical RPG developed by Iridium Studios and published by Annapurna Interactive, starring Cadence, a pop star who I think got rejected from a contest or something. I don't know, the demo starts in medias res with her already on her way to find the plot. This game is honestly kind of fucking wild, as the world is apparently separated into music genre nations, and people summon their instruments out of the fucking ether, and Cadence is going to the city of rock that's been split between grunge and metal, and also there's a country music militia called the Homestead that's committing terrorist attacks in search of the key of rock. And did they steal this plot from Trolls 2? Because I'm getting a weird sense of deja vu.
Well, as I live and breathe, Fred. A pleasure as always.
Stay the hell out of my city, Martel.
Looky here. Y'all hand over the key, and we'll take our quickest leave. We know you have it, and we know what y'all aiming to do with it.
For the last time, lady. We don't know what you're talking about.
Lasso said you'd say that, but I ain't got patience for it all told. Only a matter of time before we find it. Only you and a few lovely others.
Thanks.
Even bother resisting. And we'll go through every last home and hearth if we have to.
Also, holy shit, is that Deborah Wilson? Good to hear her in another game, she's kind of underrated. Combat in this game is really fun, and all of it is very on theme, with attacks and special moves requiring timed button presses, and it's actually really quite challenging. Not just because I notoriously suck at rhythm games, but because the music genre shifts with each turn, and different characters, including your enemies, will be strengthened if their genre is getting the focus. It works really fucking well, and this is taken even further in boss fights with the crescendo feature, which raises the boss's strength the longer the fight drags on. It requires a good bit of thought and strategy that I really appreciate. The game also has puzzles and other things, but I seriously need to shout out the music in this game because it's fucking fantastic. My favorite part though, and this is something that I've only ever seen done remotely similarly in No Straight Roads, is that the music will actually alter depending on the genre focus of the turn. And it sounds so fucking good each time, and I need the OST for this game so bad you have no goddamn idea. This game just oozes personality and charm, and it's honestly a must play for lovers of rhythm, combat, and good tunes. Also, the game actually features in-game music videos, some of which the devs put up on YouTube already. Go check them out, they're pretty good. Anyway, on to the final game. I was so uncontrollably excited when I found out this game had a demo, you have no idea. Densha Attack was announced late last summer, and I was so taken by the insanity in the trailer and just desperate to see more. I actually decided to play it last because I was worried the mere premise alone would make every following game more boring by comparison, and well, you know, I wasn't wrong. Developed by Undercoders and published by Fireshine Games, Densha Attack is the story of Emmy, a girl who delivers ramen on a train to a photographer who then asks if she's a Densha Attacker, which she's never heard of but immediately drops everything to start doing the moment she finds out, which is the exact level of insanity this game needs from its main character. Densha Attack is that special kind of crazy that only comes from the true geniuses among us, because the premise is basically, what if Tony Hawk, but with train engines? And if that isn't enough to interest you, then I'm sorry to inform you that you've come down with a terminal case of being a boring sad sack. I'm serious, you can kick flip a train in this fucking game, jump it over Easter Island heads, and crash it onto a Ferris wheel that you then pilot into a volcano, and it's the best. This is high-speed nonsense of the highest order, and you have to give it a try at least once, it's so fucking fun. The game is slated for release on June 17th, and I only hope I survive the wait because I need more train ollies in my life, and so does everyone else. Give the demo a try, I promise that, at the very least, you will not be bored. Well, that was fun. I'd say thanks for watching, but pretty much nobody watches my Next Fest videos, which means they're made entirely for the sake of my own self-indulgence. In all seriousness though, I do hope I presented at least one game that caught your fancy, and if I did, let me know in the comments after you give the demo a try. I really enjoy sharing the games I find, and it always makes me happy to know I made at least one person's day a little brighter. Anyway, I've got more stuff to work on, so I wish you the best and hope you have a fantastic day. People of Note is a musical